You know what's even funnier than this game's bugs?
25.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chaotic Entertainment. I'm your host, Dan, and this video came a lot quicker than I thought it would. My review of Lovecraft's Untold Stories 2 had only been live for about 12 hours when I received this comment from the developers. And as some of you may recall, I said I'd revisit this game if they did some serious work on it. And I'm a man of my word, so I booted up the game and I got to playing. According to the patch notes, the developers have made a few big changes to the quality of life. Weapons all reload faster, everyone runs faster, and the momentum feels smoother and not quite as janky. I'll admit this is indeed true, the game does play a lot better, it does feel quite a bit better as well. All in all, it's definitely been improved, that's for sure. They've also reduced the collision boxes on several objects, or in some cases just removed them altogether, which, I mean, was probably the best choice. Honestly, that was probably my largest complaint. As for the moving and shooting, it's definitely noticeable. Having the faster reload speed, the faster movement speed, it definitely has helped quite a bit. I played the game for another hour, and the combat felt far more reasonable during my playtime. As a matter of fact, I'd be so bold as to say it feels pretty balanced now. Especially since they've also reduced the amount of enemies that can cause damage over time effects. Now whenever I get into a fight, I don't have to beat my face against my number pad to make my poison, acid, bleed, stun go away, which means my medical supplies also go a lot farther. Also, this note right here. This is the best note in the update. Hands down. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Good God. They also reduced the amount of materials you need in order to craft things in this game by a massive percentage, which is great. I didn't talk much about how infuriating the crafting system in this game was, but I did mention that there were some problems, but it was awful. It was just terrible. You would need to spend literal hours of gathering just to improve a single piece of gear. In a game where the average reviewer has only played for 4 hours or so, that's a rather large ask. So they went and they shrank the numbers down just to make things a bit more manageable. Honestly, they may have reduced it a little too much, but I'm not going to complain. They fixed most of the main problems, and they've announced plans to fix a lot more of the other ones, some of which I didn't even mention in the first video. The detective will be able to dodge through enemies, items won't auto-equip when you find them, which is great because I died once because of that. I had a helmet on that was slowly sapping my sanity, and I didn't notice until it was too late. I was already dead on the floor. And it looks like they plan on tweaking a few other minor details, which I'm really glad to see, I really am. Anytime a developer is willing to listen to feedback, no matter how harsh, and get back to working on the damn thing, it's something that's worth praise. But it isn't all good news. Enemy AI pathfinding is still completely bugged and broken. Honestly, I don't think there's a solution for that. I think that's always just going to be something this game will have to contend with. The same can be said for the art and the graphics. The game is here, they're not going to overhaul the visuals. What we have is what we have. They also reduced how far loot will spawn when you open containers, but it still needs tweaking. It's way better now, but it could still use some work. The game also still has some major bugs or just some terrible design choices that they haven't gotten rid of. Fighting the spider boss, I kept getting confused as to why I couldn't hurt it. I fired shot after shot after shot, and it took me a moment to realize the egg sacs she spawns have collision boxes, and it makes it impossible to target her. In theory, if you let the fight go on for too long, the field can become so cluttered that you'll neither be able to walk or shoot at anything. I doubt this will be a hard fix for them, but it's one that needs to be addressed. Right now, I'm dealing with the worst bug this game has thrown at me. Hands down, the worst. In the boss fight, there are enemies that spawn that attack you from a distance. They're fine, and the boss fight is actually rather enjoyable. What isn't enjoyable is this. You might be wondering what's happening here. It's dead. That enemy is dead, but it is still attacking me. As a result, I can stand there and shoot at it as long as I want, and it won't take any damage or disappear. Okay, fine. Ignore it, kill the boss, and move on, right? No. You see, after you beat the boss, you can't move on to the next level without using this ritual circle here, and you can't use it if there are any enemies alive. I've reloaded my game 3 times now, and it's happened to me every time. I am hard locked into this game. I cannot advance beyond this point. The game has told me I'm done playing. This is absolutely unacceptable. I'm sure it's not a difficult fix, but every time I reload my game and redo this fight, I lose all of the gear and the loot that I found along the way. This is not the first time a bug has made it so I can't move on, and I suspect it won't be the last. But hey, like I said, I'm sure they can fix it. They've done a lot to improve this game, like a lot, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. So, Blinny Games, if you're watching this, please hear me out. Here are a list of some recommended changes you can make to improve the game. Number 1, either expand the inventory space or make it so there's a drop box at the start of each level. The inventory space isn't adding any difficulty to the game, it's just making it so I have to throw out all the stuff I don't care about so I can keep looting. I don't know if this would be difficult to do or not, but I promise you it will dramatically improve the game's quality of life. Number 2, make it so I can select how much of something I want to craft. It's minor, but making it so I don't have to click the craft button 80 times to make the amount of bandages and first aid kits that I want would be a major improvement. Number 3, add more music. The soundtrack to this game is limited. I know music ain't cheap, but if you had unique combat music based on the map you're playing in, I think that would be a major improvement. This game still gets a neutral or possibly even negative review from me. I can't in good conscience recommend it in its current condition, but it's definitely a lot closer to that positive score that it's working for. If they just tweak a few more things, if they just improve a few more issues here and there, and if they implement the changes I've suggested here, I could easily see this game getting a positive review from me. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and to consider subscribing. It really helps, and if you want to help support the channel, you can always share this video with your friends. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.